Hey guys, I see you. So we're about to take it to the mic stand. Hey guys, what's up tonight? How are you guys doing tonight? Got three people already in here. Thank you guys for showing up. Uh People mic stand incoming. Hey toys. Hey little, how you doing? Good, just cruising the interwebs and laughing about the Galactic Federation stuff. Four people, yay, four people. We're getting off to a good start tonight, looks like. Hope you're good. Hey, Mike. Hey, Leto, I see you. Good to see you all here tonight. All ready to go here. We got four people here tonight. All right, so with that, I'm gonna start off real quick here. I'm surviving laugh out loud. Yeah. So we got like four people in here now. So I'll at least kind of give you guys a little heads up on what's on tap for tonight. Um, all I have four news stories, all four of them in regards to Attack on Titan. I think I saw a bunch of Attack on Titan stuff. So um, I think that they have a premiere. They have, I guess, the fourth season is going to be coming out soon. So there's a lot of coverage on that. So I'll probably be going over some of that, including some interviews with some of the English voice actors and actresses involved in the show. Oh wow, we have four people already. So we'll wait a few minutes, wait a couple more minutes. So how was your all's weekend? Let's see, haha, that's all we can do. True. I stopped watching after the first season. I'm behind a lot. Well, at least you'll get some news updates on what's to come here a little bit. No, I won't try to do spoil. I don't do spoilers per se, but at least yeah, but there's at least I guess from what I understand, the fourth season is going to be premiering soon, and of course I thank you guys for any of the likes and shares you guys had to help with the algorithms, help get more people in here to see if we can get see if we can get some more people in here and to where they can watch the coverage. Um, Excuse me for one moment here. Gonna go off camera for just a sec here. So, you guys have anything exciting happen over the weekend? I know at ATCU posted on main event collectibles on I guess some of your recent work on there. I saw that. I get the notifications now for that. Work during the weekend today is my day off. I streamed earlier a new fighting game called Them's Fighting Herds. Pretty good game. Got five people in here now. Wow. We're getting off to a fast start tonight here. I think I'll start with the news stories at the 5 minute mark. So let's get all that set up here. We got people in already. We got a lot of people in already. Let me see. Okay, so now, as you guys know, that the ones who do the dub for Attack on Titan are Funimation, even though you do have a mix. Hey, Woody, I see you. See, uh, I was sweet talking my wife last night, and I had to let her know she was drooling. Laugh out loud was nice to know I still got it. Cool for you, man. Cool for you. Um, all right, toys. High five. I had a similar conversation with my dog. Oh God. Okay. Let's see. All right, Woody. High five. Laugh out loud. High five to you guys. Laugh out loud. I used to be a ladies' man. Laugh out loud. Literally charm the pants off anyone. That's some funny stuff there, my friend. Okay. Hey, Woody. Okay. So yeah. So okay. Oh, a couple of there's like four stories from Attack on Titan. I figured I touch upon here. They're all interconnected. I guess the season four premiere is going to be happening soon. I guess a couple of interviews with some of the voice actresses, English voice actresses involved. Or this one's involving two of the voice actresses, and the other one's involving the voice actors. And then got a couple in regards to its premiere and stuff for premiere. Anyways, why don't we go ahead and get started? We have like four people in here now, and as I said, I always appreciate the likes and shares when you guys do so. It helps out the algorithm, helps get more people in here. And Action Toys, yes, I did post. I did put the link as well on main event collectors as well as my own news feed. So you probably saw that. So hopefully we'll get even some of them in here tonight. You never know. It's a 5 night a week thing. So anyway, so let's go ahead and get started here then. Get right to it. Um, so the first of these Attack on Titan stories here. Attack on Titan interview. Mikasa and Hange's voice actors on season four, Hopes and Fears. Ahead of the final season, Trina Nishimura and Jessica Calvello spoke to CBR about their experiences portraying Mikasa and Hange in Attack on Titan. Trina, of course, has been a long time Funimation voice actress. Not one of the ones who I believe got all caught up in the whole Vic thing. She's stayed quiet on that. Among her, let's see, I know some of her other roles that she's done. I know she was the lead in El Cazador de la Bruja. She also was involved with Negima. Um, as for Jessica Calvello, she's been all over the place. She's done work not just in for Funimation. Well, this is, I guess, one of her only Funimation works, but she's also worked for in Houston for ADV. She was, I believe she was one of the voices for Excel and Excel Saga. Let's see. I know she did some work in New York as well. She was the female lead in DNA Squared. Um, so in the picture there, Hange is the one with the glasses. Mikasa is the one with the longer, darker hair there. So Attack on Titan's fourth and final season, premiering December 6th. The basically premiered yesterday. Is one of the most highly anticipated animes of 2020. The series follows the surviving members of the Survey Corps as they struggle against a world that's much more vast than they ever knew. and regards the people of Paradise Island as its enemy. The fate of the Survey Corps, tit- um, Titan shifters, Paradise, and humanity itself will be decided in a season that promises to be even darker and more action packed than its predecessors. Um, the cast for Attack on Titan's English dub has been assembled to play their characters for a final time, including Trina Nishimura as Mikasa Ackerman and Jessica Calvello as Hange Zoe. CBR spoke to Trina and Jessica about their thoughts on the season, Attack on Titan's tendency to kill main characters, and voice acting during a global pandemic. See if you guys are saying anything thus far. Boys, you got a new video? YouTube doesn't even notify me. Yeah, you've been. Yeah, YouTube's been weird lately. Um, Cell Saga was one of my first favorite anime. Um, if I remember correctly, Jessica Calvello was the first voice of Excel. I think it was Jessica Calvello who actually developed the throat nodes and ended up having to replace for like the second part of the series there. Had to give it a watch later in between streams. Hmm. So here we go. PBR. Can you tell us a bit about your first impressions of the characters you played, Mikasa and Hange? Um, do those impressions differ at all from how you see them going into season 4? Again, which is Trina. My first impression I ever had of Mikasa was the very opening scene of the show, and has her she has her devotion in that moment, and her relationship with Aaron in that initial scene remains the same. In a lot of ways, she has changed a lot emotionally over the past season. She's definitely not as guarded as she was. I think that's really neat. However, when there is a battle to be fought, she definitely comes through. So, knowing that there are quite a few battles left and quite a bit of change coming, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the new, more emotionally in tune Mikasa continues to be a fierce warrior. Then JC, Jessica Calvello. Um, oh my God. My first impression of the magnificent Hange, my first impression of her was just wonderful and pure love. Character is wonderfully, wildly complicated and super smart, and seems to just be, an amazing strategist and educator. Just a beautiful brain. Um, when I started watching the show, and that's a much longer story, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope I get to audition for that character because that character is amazing. And as far as going into season 1, I'm actually bit um a little bit behind on the show. I watched the subtitled version, um the original, obviously when it first came out. And then of course the cast for the dub happened and everything, and I had already seen season 1, and then I would watch every episode for season 2 before we recorded because I wanted to know what was going on. But Then for season 3, I wanted to be completely surprised. So I never watched season 3. It's kind of weird thing to understand because it's like, well, you've dubbed season 3. Of course you saw it. No, I only saw my actual lines and whenever Hange was speaking. And so that's not the same thing as actually watching the episode. So I'm actually kind of behind. The characters have stayed consistent. Hange's crazy. Hange's smart. Hange's planning and strategizing. It's all true. Well, I mean, yeah. When going into the recording, they're only going to the only parts of the show they're going to be able to see or watch are the parts they're actually recording when they're recording their lines. You know, to where they know like how to feed. It's not just a matter of just simply reading the lines, but also knowing how to like react to the other character. How the dialogue plays out. So see, see if there's anything new you guys are. All right, all right. Uh, that's a cool fact. I didn't know. They replaced the actress. Um, they sounded pretty similar. Well, yeah. I mean, when you have to, obviously, when for whatever reason you have to replace an actor or actress, um, sometimes like in this case it happened because, and I think, as I said, Jessica was the first Excel. Um, but she was one of the two voices in there. Um, yeah, I think Jessica was the first one, but because of all the screaming she was having to do in Excel, she developed polyps in her throat, which made doing the voice much more difficult. She was out, from what I understand, for a few months, and so they replaced for the second part of Excel Saga, or for like some last of the episodes. They replaced Jessica with Larissa Walcott, as I recall. Um, you know, it's kind of like how you talked about their voices sound familiar. Well, of course they do because they need to find somebody who sounds as close to, if not exactly like the character, obviously. So, like another example I can give is in D Gray Man. For the English dub of D Gray Man, originally for like quote unquote the first half of this. Well, they actually had a couple of vocal replacements in the latter, like from the first half of the season. So for the Gray Man, they recorded the first 52 episodes back in like I think the late 2000s, and it was being broadcast in 2009. And then they just more recently, in the last couple of years, for D Gray Man, recorded the last so. D Gray Man was a total of 103 episodes. So they recorded the first 51 recorded and broadcast the first 51 episodes, you know, by 2009 basically. And I think what was it, 2016, 17, they got permission to record and broadcast the second half of the season of The Gray Man. Um, like in the first half of the season, the first 51 episodes, Travis Willingham, who's famous, of course, for being the voice of Roy Mustang in Full Metal Alchemist, um, as well as right now, probably one of the main roles most people know him for is as White Zetsu in Naruto Shippuden. Um, well, because Travis was now focusing more on working out here in LA, they replaced him with Ian Sinclair for the second half of the season. And then they actually had to replace Roy Tydal's voice in D. Gray Man. Originally, it was Jerry Russell who was voicing him, but he passed away in 2013. So that when they started up again in 2016, the second half of the season, Jeremy Schwartz was cast as English voice of Tidal. So let's see here. Okay. So excuse me a moment again. Sorry, I gotta go off camera for just a quick moment. Okay, so getting back to the interview here. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Going into season 4, I expect Hange to have even more, and this is still part of Jessica's answer, of course. Um, Even more answers and really be the beacon of light and comedic edge. That the show desperately needs because it's not a comedy. It's so bleak. Yeah, I mean, of course it's bleak because you have these giant humanoid figures that are going around eating normal sized humans. Yeah, that can be pretty bleak, pretty horrific. So Hange is needed for so many things, and I see that continuing on to season 4. Even though I'm a little behind on the story. So before I get to the next question here, sorry, I got to go off camera again, guys. All right, I'm back. So CBR here. Attack on Titan first aired in 2013, and I imagine it's been a significant aspect of both your lives since then. How does it feel now that the show is in its final season? Trina, now now that now that it's the final season, it's a little bittersweet. There has been so much that the show has given to me as a person. I've met so many amazing people. The actor that plays Aaron, Bryce Papenbrook, who is actually based out of LA out here. They did have some LA based voice actors go out to Houston to record as well, Bryce being one of them. Uh, Bryce, of course, aside from voicing Aaron in Attack on Titan, he's also the English voice of Kirito in Sword Art Online. Let's see, that's the only one I can think of at the moment, I believe. Yeah. No, he's been in a few things. Yeah, he was also in Demon Slayer. I think he was blonde guy in. No, actually not the blonde guy. He was Inosuke, the guy with the pig mask in Demon Slayer. So has become one of my closest friends. I've literally traveled the world and met so many amazing fans and friends and people, and I cannot possibly imagine what my life would be like without this show. And now that it's ending, I'm just incredibly grateful for all of the experiences, being able to portray the English voice of Mikasa over the years has been an absolute thrill and delight. It's sad to see the end, but I'm so grateful for the ride. Jessica, um, man, I'm not ready. I'm probably going to have a little bit of trouble when season 4 happens. I'm not reading the manga, so no spoilers for me. and I certainly don't want any spoilers from anyone else. Of course, in this day and age, it's impossible to stay away from spoilers. But the show's coming to a close and is possibly going to be a little tough for me creatively. I really identify with Hange, not because I have her intelligence, nope, but I've just grown to love the character. It was love at first sight. It's cute. And it's going to be hard to let that go. And it's a similar feeling to when I did lots of stage when I lived in New York. You're great friends with all these people. It's like you have a little family, 6 to 8 weeks, and however long the run of the show is. And at the end of it, there's this pain in your heart because it's like, oh, it's over now. And for me, with this show, we don't get to work with each other as we're dubbing the show. So it's really my connection with Hange, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough, but I'm just gonna do my best. As Vic has mentioned before too, they as dubbers they record they record the they record their lines separately. Everybody goes in on their own to record the line. So usually it's the voice actor, the voice director, and the ADR crew, ADR engineers, and all that. So you haven't read the manga, so you don't know. Well, nope, I have not. I haven't read any of the manga. Oh wow, kind of an exchange between the CBR interviewer and Jessica here. Um, Jessica, I know. We'll see. That's what I'm saying. Like it's impossible to stay away from spoilers. Yeah. So I may have heard rumors, which I do not want to discuss, but I'm ready for anything just with the beautiful character of Hange. Um, just with the beautiful character Hange is, I look forward to seeing how things play out and to see what happens and where the show takes things. I do know it's going to be a wild ride. Maybe as if, hey, they're gonna make so much money come convention season starts. I'll be in line for some of these. Well, if they're allowed to have conventions, they're allowed to have conventions. Considering what's going on. So this is CBR again. Last month I spoke with Justin Briner about My Hero Academia. Justin Briner, of course, is another Funimation film voice actor. Probably his most well known roles, of course, are Deku in My Hero Academia and Luck in Luck in Black Clover. And he mentioned voice acting from home on account of COVID-19. Is this is this something you've had to do? And if so, what's it like screaming battle lines in the vicinity of your neighbors? Trina. Yeah, I have recorded at home. It's been challenging. Actually, fun fact, for the past, I guess, almost 2 months, Now my uh, now my partner was hospitalized. He's fine now. It was non-COVID related, and he's totally fine now. But Gino, the head and that's Gino Palencia, who's one of their ADR engineers, and I believe he's the brother of Brina Palencia, one of the other Funimation voice actresses. Um, some of the roles that she is known for include Nina Tucker in Full Metal Alchemist, Yui and Negima. I don't know what his exact title is at Funimation other than Wizard helped me record from there. The hospital allowed me to turn the telephone room off of the waiting room into a recording studio. Gino brought C stands and sound blankets up to the hospital and dropped them off for me. So I had like a blanket fort inside the telephone room to record in. Isn't that kind of cute? Don't rain on my parade, Mike. What do you mean by that, Leto? You mean with what I was talking about with the convention? Well, again, not that I'm trying to get too political or anything like that, but if Biden and those around him get their way, everything will just. That's why we have to hope that the two current Georgia senators will win their runoffs, and they'll be that bulwark against them trying to pull any like super extreme measures. Um, I'm just preparing you for that. Continue with Trina's response here. And I think my favorite recording moment of 2020 and recording remotely was when I was screaming at the top of my lungs that for a show, I was going to kill someone over and over because the mic kept peeking out. So I just kept screaming, I'm going to kill you! And kind of a little bit more explicit when that over and over and over. And somebody was like, Are you okay? And ripped the door open. Um, and it was this janitor man who was older, and he was very worried because he couldn't see into the telephone room because of the blankets, and he thought I was killing somebody. Oh my god! Oh, that's funny. That's funny. When somebody doesn't know what's going on, and you all of a sudden hear screaming, "I'm going to kill you! I'm going to kill you! I'm going to kill you!" Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Ay, 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 ay. Ah, and then the CBR person interviewer is going, "That's hilarious," and Trina comes back. That's my favorite remote recording moment. Like some nice old cleaning man thought I was killing somebody. That is kind of cute, if not disturbing. Uh, anyways, I'll be gotta go off camera for a moment here. Be right back. All right, I'm back. So, continuing on with the story, the interviewer, um, it's dedicated of you to be doing your lines from the hospital. Trina, it was a crazy moment. I was fortunate enough to have such an amazing tribe, and Funimation was so flexible and so kind about the whole experience. It was a much welcome reprieve for my brain to be able to scream my frustration into a microphone, much to the dismay of the hospital staff. I'm sure, because one, all the noise she was probably making for screaming, probably scaring a number of patients. Um, not to mention staff. Is this girl okay or what? Uh, Jessica here. I've been super lucky to have my own studio space since like 2013. I had the space built because I wanted to partner with a bunch of different companies, some anime, some not anime. I work with other animation companies like Sideline Happiness. I've done some work um, with Nosy Entertainment, dubbed some great shows with them. So I've actually been doing this for a minute. It's been going on 6, 7 years, and that's true. You know, Jessica's bounced around quite a bit. She's done work with Funimation. She's done work with in Houston for like ADV, and I don't know if she's done. I don't know if she's done any work with Sentai. She did work for ADV a bit. She of course originated out of New York. I think she's even done some stuff here in LA. So she's been all over the place. I know another one of the shows she was involved with as well that she did some characters on is I think it was Queen's Rebellion or something like that. I feel for my comrades and colleagues because putting this thing together is really challenging. It's literally built into my home with double pane glass and soundproofing in the walls and under the floor for richer bass tones. Before that, I had this great little makeshift studio out of my closet, um, which works just fine too. But that also wasn't easy. And don't even get me started on the technical nightmares you can encounter just turning on your freaking mic. I've always been grateful to have a lot of really good people in my life who are smarter than I am. So the interview before I get to that, we're already well past 30 minutes here. I miss ADV. That was a great anime dubbing studio. Well, to let you know, Leto, a lot of the people who were working at ADV, a lot of the people who were working at ADV are now at Sentai. A number of them, and then of course they did pick up a few newer people too, like the Simmons sisters. I think Nick McDonald's worked more with Sentai than ADV. The Gibbs brothers, Adam and Scott Gibbs, um, Tyler Galindo. Some of the like newer voice actors out of Houston have been involved, but then a lot of the people who were at ADV before, like Kara Vincent Davis, um, Shelley Kayleen Black, Brittany Karbowski's work, some of the double dippers as well, like Brittany Karbowski, the Ayers brothers. They've also, David Wald, Andrew Lev. They've all um, work for Sentai as well. So a lot of people, as I said, who've worked for ADV are working at Sentai now. So now on to the next article here, next question here. So interviewer, in season 4, Mikasa's motivations and loyalties will be tested more than anyone else. For a character that's not known for expressing her feelings much, Trina, how do you approach voicing those moments of emotional crisis? And Trina's response here, Mikasa isn't known for emoting, right? Um, she's not known for showing her emotions or showing her cards, and a lot of that is because of the childhood trauma that she endured. So she is accustomed to fighting and fighting and fighting and emotions. Well, the way that I perceived it when I was playing her was that she saw what I thought in my brain when I was trying to be stone cold, that as a weakness, being sad as a weakness or being emotional is a weakness. And it exposes you to danger. Like when that thing happened to her in season 1, which I'm trying not to spoil by dancing around it. Um, but she does have a deep well of emotion, and she does have so much care and so much love and so much feeling, and that's why she fights. She never wanted to join the Survey Corps. That was just to protect Aaron. She never wanted to fight. She never wanted to be a good fighter. So she does it out of love and devotion to her adopted family unit. All of that comes from love. Emoting that or expressing those feelings or ideas isn't something that she's incapable of. It's just something that happens when she is at her most desperate. So that's basically how I approach it. Gotta go off camera for a quick sec before I get back to. Oh. Hey Cheney, long time no see, man. How you been? Hope all is well with you. Um, hope you can come on more often. See, oh I know, Love the DVDs from ADV. They pack them with trailers and pilot episodes of new animes. Good times. On to the next question from the interview here. See, we're already wow. This one's another one taking quite a bit of time here. Jessica, your character in a lot of ways is the opposite of Mikasa. With her over the top enthusiasm and passion, is it hard for you to get into Hangei's mindset? Jessica, no, because that's me. I am so extra. I'm not saying Hangei is a typecast, but I am normally sort of pigeonholed and typecast into super energetic characters. No brag and no problem, because that's the thing I do. I have a lot of energy and I can speak really fast. And if you know her work enough, you know that's true. That is true. Know enough of her work. Um, my challenge with Hange is to pull back, because there are definitely times when Hange goes crazy and she's really expressive and all the things are happening, but um, there's a lot of times when Hange is giving exposition and she's not as excitable as that character normally is. And I have to really rein it in, and make sure that I'm not too over the top. Because if I don't give Hange good balance, then the over the top scenes are going to be tiresome. And then the exposition scenes are going to be too much. So it really is just a fine balance that I try to strike in keeping in time with the character. Let's let's see. Hey, Cheney. Yeah, I know. Haven't had a lot of time to watch live. Well, I hope you can at least start catching the Friday nights, because I don't know how much of a comic book fan you are, but we've been doing a historical retrospect on Friday nights. I think you'd enjoy if you're into the history of comics and how they developed over time. Oh, Cheney. You stream right as my kids go to bed, so it gets tough. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I know, and the combination of that and also the fact that other people stream around the same time too, I know is, you know, can be a bit difficult. That's why I know it's been a little slow getting people come on a regular basis. But I still got my crew here, Cheney. But again, I hope you can find the time. You know, because I think we'd all enjoy your company here. So on to the interviewer's next question. Attack on Titan is a show where no character is safe, and this is even more true in the final season. Have either of you ever been nervous that your character would die? Interesting question. Let's see how they respond. Trina, every episode. I am nervous every episode that my character will die. I have been told over the years at various times by various people that my character does in fact die. The first time it happened, I was really nervous about it, and I called the director. I was like, "Do I die next season?" He was like, "No, you don't die." He had no idea, but he gave me reassurances anyway, and luckily I didn't. But yeah, I'm nervous every single time that I go into the booth that I'm going to die, because it's one of those shows where you just could. Jessica's response here. Oh yes, like all the time. I don't know how this is going to play out, because I don't know what happens in season 4, but I've always said this. I've said this at cons. I've said this in other interviews. I truly hope that if Hange dies at some point, that the character is given a spectacular death, because Hange is a spectacular character. Um, and I'm getting emotional. Okay. Well, I know that my character is liable to die, so I hope that it's a spectacular death. like what, being blown into every single every into a bunch of small little pieces. Really enjoy the content. Just hard to make it. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it, and I again hope to see you around more, Cheney. We continue on here. Um, I got a little worried in the first season. We're introduced to her insane annex, and jumping into the mouths of titans, and just being really into her science, poking things in the eyes, and poor Moblet. Um, oh, sweet, 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 dear Moblet, constantly trying to rein Hange in, like, Commander, oh my God, stop! What are you doing? Please, you're too close. And Hange just, oh, because she's nuts. If Hange goes out, I want her to go out with a big bang, and I hope it's extraordinary, and I hope it's honorable because the character deserves it. Now we're on to the last question here. Now that Attack on Titan is in the final part of its story, is there anything you hope other shows will learn from it? Trina, big takeaways from Attack on Titan for other shows, or just big takeaways from Attack on Titan in general, would be in that inclusion is important. That outdated standards about gender roles are silly and pointless, and that it's important to make sure everyone is represented. Um, and that everyone isn't, oh boy, getting a little SJW on us here, and that everyone is included as an individual without any preconceived notions of what they should be. And I think Attack on Titan has done that beautifully over the years, even when it wasn't popular to do so. Jessica's response: I think character arcs are important. I've seen Armin go through an extraordinary character arc. I love the character arcs. Armin, of course, is played by Josh Grell. Might get to him. That's one of the other stories. I'll be up a little later. Um, I'll be talking about a little later here. Um, love character arcs. I think there's always something to be learned about something that's done really well. Attack on Titan is returning for its final season on December 6th. It is available for streaming on Funimation now and Crunchyroll. So, wonder if they'll bring it back to again. I wonder if they'll bring it back to Toonami at all. People to watch. That'll be interesting. Oh, that's it for that article. Hope I too have a space. We have 6 people in here now. Yay, 6 people. Oh, here we go. Yeah, you saw it too, huh? You saw it too, huh? Yep. We just did that one. So the next story we'll do here is this one. Let's set this up. Um, I'll be right back, guys. I gotta step away from the computer for a moment or so. Um, you guys want you can talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back now. Let's see what we got here. Laugh out loud. Hello, shelves. Okay. How you been, Woody? Let's see. Laugh out loud. How is everyone doing? I'm doing great. I spend a lot of time playing with Sniffig, a really fun little free software 2D animator. Good. I don't work. Good. I don't work, so I'm good. That sounds interesting, Woody. I programmed for 20 or 30 years. I am scraping by on some social security nowadays, um, but it's enough. Computers these days are so powerful. I could only dream about playing with stuff like this when you know, what kind of animation do they do? Not working is the bomb. I don't know how the heck I had time to live my life while I was also working. Hmm. Okay, so anyways, moving on to the next story then, guys. Hope you guys have been enjoying each other's company while I was leaving the computer. The next Attack on Titan story here. Attack on Titan premiere confirmed season four's time skip. Um, Attack on Titan season four premiere confirms a time skip has taken place and roughly how long it is. LDR. Warning: the following contains spoilers for season four, episode one of Attack on Titan. The other side of the ocean, more streaming on Crunchyroll, Funimation. Who? All right. Well, then I won't read this story because it's headline was enough there. I know there was some talk of a time skip, so I won't read that story because it's got spoilers in it. Yeah, you guys are really talking pretty fast here. Making a little cartoony things, but I don't have any kind of plot line or ability to make things look non-robotic. It does. Uh, it looks like you can animate stick figures with ease, from what I can see. After that, Woody's retirement. How about Woody retirement is fun, right? I'm jealous of your real life lip syncing. I'm just now mastering Papagayo, which isn't that great, but it's a way to manage the phone me for the automatic, semi-automatic lip sync. But you still, Woody, have you uploaded any of your work? Have to write out scripts. Man, and here I am working like a normal person. I have a place on BitChute um, where I put a couple of things a few months ago, but they've gotten better since then. Ha ha ha. It shoots sensor. Laugh out loud. I'm looking for someone to make me a 10 or 15-second intro and outro to my channel. Hey, 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 anonymity. We're talking Attack on Titan tonight. So if you're into that, and um, I've been looking for something like that. Do action anonymity. As always, of course, I appreciate likes and shares. Hopefully, we can get some more people involved. Okay, so since that story had spoilers in it, we'll skip that one. Let's see. This one probably got spoilers too, I think. Attack on Titan season 4 premiere reveals the inheritor of Ymir's Jaw Titan. Yeah, this one has spoilers too, so um, skip that one. So both of those had spoilers in them, so that's why. Okay, this one. This is the other interview that was on here. This one coming from two of the male voice actors. Attack on Titan, Aaron and Armin's voice actors on the series impending end. On the just give me anonymity. Ready? I don't know. I couldn't tell you that, my friend. Well, I gotta go off camera for just a sec. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Of course, we're past the hour mark here. Here's another interview. This time with two of the male voice actors. CBR spoke to Bryce Papenbrook, Aaron Yeager. Bryce, as I mentioned earlier, also known for doing Kirito's voice in Sword Art Online. He was Inosuke, basically the hog masked Demon Slayer and Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. And Josh Grell, Armin Arlet, about their um, thoughts on the end of Attack on Titan. Um, don't know any of Josh's other roles off the top of my head at the moment. So Armin is the blonde one on the left there, and then Aaron is the one up front. Attack on Titan's fourth and final season is one of the most highly anticipated anime of 2020. After a long and bloody struggle for survival against the Titans, the season follows the last living members of the Survey Corps as they struggle against a world that's much more vast than they ever knew. And regards the people of Paradise Island as its enemies, the fate of the Survey Corps, Titan shifters, Paradise, and humanity itself will be decided in a season that promises to be even darker and more action packed than its predecessors. Of course, this is the opening to the other interview as well. So I guess the same interviewer will be interviewing the guys now. Um, the cast for Attack on Titan's English dub has been assembled to play their characters for a final time, including Bryce Papenbrook as Aaron Yeager and Josh Grell as Armin Arlett. CBR spoke to Bryce and Josh about their thoughts on the season, hopes for their characters, fates, and the importance of endings. So here we go. The Attack on Titan anime first aired in 2013, and I imagine it's been a significant aspect of both of your lives. How does it feel now that the show is in its final season? That coming from the interviewer, JG, aka Josh Grell, Josh right here. Bittersweet. I mean, just to put a very fine point on it, it's sad to say goodbye to the characters um, that we may potentially never really record anything new for after this season or anything. But there's also the point of we'll get the satisfaction of seeing this project completed. And not just completed, it's going to be kind of unique, at least in my career, because there have been so many anime over the years that I've worked on and never got to finish in terms of covering the entire story of the source material um, that they were based on. And those that were finished usually had a lot of filler and and a lot of other stuff thrown into it that, depending on your taste, kind of weird, kind of watered down the experience. So for Titans to be one of the first and only shows in my career that to be one of the only shows that not only do we get to do in its entirety and then it gets to finish, but is in terms of an anime adaptation or of a manga, one of the closest to ever be done. It's just super cool to think about it and to be able to look back on it and be like, hey, we did that. And we got to be a part of that and this huge body of work. And we get to now kind of sit back and look at it as a finished piece of artwork and get to appreciate it ourselves. Bryce, yeah, Josh, I'm right there with you. I mean, bittersweet is the perfect way to describe it. Of course, these two use the word bittersweet. I think Trina in her interview used the word bittersweet as well. So that seems to be a common theme here, the use of the word bittersweet. Uh, but at this moment, about to go into this final season, I think I just have a lot of excitement. I have no idea what's to come. I've been guessing wrong on the twists and turns of this series. From the beginning, I still have no idea where it's going to go or how they're going to put a bow on this. So I'm really, really excited to see what happens next. Can you tell us, so the interviewer here, can you tell us about your first impressions of the characters you play, Aaron and Armin? Has your perspective on them changed much since? Bryce, I'll jump in. I started watching the show before I knew I would even get any sort of opportunity to audition for any characters. I was immediately drawn to Aaron. I mean, he just has his intensity about him, and especially in that first season, episode 5 is the one where Aaron gets chomped. Um, that's the moment in the show that absolutely got me hooked on the show. I wanted to see everything that happened, where they would take it. That particular moment is is what did it. I thought that was the end of Aaron. I feel like I was just drawn to that intensity and that anger. It's it's been incredible to be able to portray that in the English dub. And Josh here respond with Armin at first going into it and also having them hooked hooked on it like Bryce, and having the privilege to see it before we recorded it. I'd already gotten to see a little bit of Armin's initial arc at that point. So going into it, my thoughts were that he was a lot like myself, because when we first meet him, he's a very nervous character. He's very passionate about the world around him, and he's very inquisitive and curious person and very caring. But he's very unsure of himself, um, and he's very afraid of the world around him, and especially once stuff hits the fan in the first episode, it kind of catapults him into a place of, I think, permanent fear for at least the very first few episodes. I saw him at first as a kind of a very weak, isn't necessarily the right word, but reserved and uncertain. Um, and now I feel more like he not only knows who he is, but he's willing to lay it all on the line for what he believes in and for his friends. That's really the arc he's taken at this point. For me, he went from boy to man very quickly, and thankfully, it was in one of the better ways instead of one of the alternatives. Let's see if anybody said any. Apparently, there's been a few things that have been said since. Yeah, they did. That's what we're talking about here. Anonymity. Yeah, it crashed um, Crunchyroll because everyone wanted to see it. Well, hopefully they'll put it on Toonami at some point for everybody else. Quite a few shows coming back. I have actually created a couple of caricature characters for Nick Rekieta and Ty Beard. That sounds like it could be quite hilarious, Woody. Can't find you, Woody. You got a link. Bitshoot.com, Woody. I was an early adopter. It's a video of a dog eating a kitty's neck. Oh boy. Ha ha ha. That dog adopted that little. Only thing that comes up is Deadly Woody and Woody 36060. Aaron will undergo. So continuing on with the article here, Aaron will undergo a significant evolution of his character in season 4. How will you approach voicing him, Bryce, as he changes so drastically from who he was at the start of his story? I have no idea what's about to happen. I have no idea what's about to change. And for me, as a voice actor, I made a lot of decisions in the booth. In the moment, I tried to bring out a raw nature so it feels as much of what the character is feeling as I can. So whether it's by thinking of something that brings me to a spot and I feel the character is in, or by physically doing something like when Aaron was biting his hand, I bit my hand so hard I left bruises. Wow, talk about method acting. Talk about method acting right there. That's pretty interesting. But it sounds amazing. So I'm open to taking myself there, but I don't know where I'm going. So I would only be guessing. Interesting hearing from you that there's some arc. I know I didn't answer the second part of your last question of where the character has come. Um, I still don't know. I still don't know what Aaron's arc is and where he's going at this point. A lot of my excitement is learning that and being able to step into those shoes. I can't wait. I just can't wait. So basically, what he's saying is he's figuring it out on the fly as he's voicing the character instead of like reading ahead and learning what he's learning Aaron's character on the fly. So that's an interesting form of method acting for you. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, uh, excuse me there. Sorry about that. Burped. AO2 got a huge plot point to go into. Um, so until uh, BBN, interesting. See what happens. Yeah, well, they've indicated that they did a bit of a much like they did with between Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. They did a bit of a time skip here, in which some time has passed and they have new characters they're focusing on in that fourth and final season. So Tilby. Hmm. So continuing on then. Actually, let me see how far we are in terms of time. Wow, we're already coming up on an hour and a half. These two interviews, in particular, even though I decided to skip the two spoiler stories, these two interviews are taking quite a bit of time there. One interesting detail about Armin is that his Japanese voice actor is a woman. Does that at all color your approach to voicing him, Josh? Hmm. Yeah, which is a common practice in voice acting. Sometimes, if you have a prepubescent character, or like a child, or a male character who happens to have a, let's say, a higher pitched voice, they'll bring in a woman to voice the character. Yes and no. I mean, Mike McFarland's another longtime Funimation employee, voice actor, voice director. Among some of the more well-known characters he has include Rinku from which is Haru's mother in father. I think mother because he was a cross dresser basically. Um, in Oron High School Host Club. Let's see. He was, I believe he was Miyamoto in Yu Yu Hakusho. Um, let's see. And those are the only two I can. Trying to remember which character he played in. Can't exactly remember who he played in Full Metal Alchemist, but basically he's been with Funimation pretty much from the beginning. So much like Colleen Klinkenbeard. So, anyways, moving on. Then when he was casting the show, obviously he knew that Armin was voiced by a female, and that was a really big decision for him to make on whether he wanted to go with a female or a male. I think ultimately he ended up going with a male because there was so much potential for the show, um, and that we didn't know where it was going to go, if there was ever going to be a time skip or anything like that. But just because the sheer possibility of being with these characters for a while and having Armin eventually potentially grow up into a man, he wanted to have someone's voice that could cover the full age range. And that's one thing that at least I'm able to do. So, yeah, when he cast me, he told me that up front, from then on, I always tried to listen to what she was doing in the Japanese version, because that was so much of where people connected with Armin in the first time. The first time watching it was through her voice. So much of what she portrayed of Armin was this gentleness and this uncertainty, and that more was something that I, instead of trying to sound feminine, was trying to match the gentleness that she was portraying. That was the approach to it. Alright, so still nothing there. So we'll go on to the next question here. So the interviewer here. Is there anything unique or especially enjoyable about voice acting for Aaron and Armin in comparison to roles you've had in the past? I know you already mentioned that the show actually ends. Josh? Yeah, right. Yeah, the show is a complete thing. It's the complete show. I mean, for me, that's a big one. I really enjoy getting to be part of something that feels complete. Other than that, I guess if I were to compare it to other shows I worked on, the closest for the closest for me right out of my head is Tokyo Ghoul, another show with a similar approach to it in terms of being thrown into the world at the moment of a big chaotic moment and a big upset for the main character. These are all these twists and turns, and you don't know who's a friend and who's an enemy. The experience of navigating the story, and that would was very similar for me working on that show as well as working on Titans. Here's Bryce's response to that question. I think for me, there are a few things that set Titan apart from other projects that I've worked on. First, it was the first audition I had for the team at Funimation. As I mentioned earlier, Bryce is In fact, Bryce Papenbrook is the son of voice actors Bob and the late Bob Papenbrook and Debbie Papenbrook. Um, I know Bob Papenbrook was the axe wielding character in Dot Hack in the Dot Hack video games. One of the characters that he was known for doing. So Bryce is based out of LA here, first and foremost. It was the first time I was recording outside of Los Angeles. I actually flew out to Dallas, stayed with Mike McFarlane, the director. He was so warm and friendly and nice, incredible to host me and allow me to do that. We would drive into the studio together. Mike listens to a lot of metal music. So it was about a half hour of Raoul, 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 and then a full day of relay, 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 as Aaron, as Aaron Yeager. Um, so that was a unique experience, an incredible experience, and it just will always be a special time when I met so many people like Josh that I have become lifelong friends and that I know I'll be close to forever. And it was literally because of this show. So it really stands out in that way. I've just made so many friends because of the show. Before I get to this next question, I'm going to have to go off camera for another moment. All right, so on to the next question here. Now that it won't be too long before we see the final chapter of Attack on Titan's manga, do you have any hopes for how the story will end? Josh responds, "Peace on Earth, goodwill towards Titans." Bryce laughs. Josh then a follow up there. Yeah, that would be my hope. Just some sort of peaceful or happy resolution for these characters. Because I mean, that's no life for Aaron. For that to be, if he dies at the end of this or something, having lived in nothing but anger and rage and feeling trapped, I would feel awful for him. You know what I mean? I really hope that at the end of all this, Armin gets to explore. Mikasa gets to feel like she is forever a part of a family, and that is whole. That is whole. And Aaron gets to feel free, and not only just free in terms of getting to be himself, getting to be a human with those rights of being a human, of getting to have your own fate in your own hands, but also freedom from his own anguish, his own internal torment. That's what I hope. Considering the history of this show, probably not going to be that way. Before I read Bryce's last comment, that I think this is the end of the interview. Um, I got to go off camera one more time here. Sorry, guys. Okay, so here's the last for Bryce here. This is Bryce's last response here. Josh, I love that answer. And yeah, I'm right there with you. I want good for these characters. I have wanted good for all the characters that I've fallen in love with in this series, but this just doesn't seem to be in the cards for them. And always kind of that possibility always kind of there. It just I don't know, it just messes with me in thinking how this is all going to play out. And I just go back to where I've been since the beginning. I don't know what's going on, but I love watching this. I'm excited to see what happens next. And then of course, okay, so, well, here they gave a little bit more info. New episodes of Attack on Titan season 4 premiere Sundays at 4:45 Eastern, um, which would be 1:45 Pacific, of course, on Funimation now and Crunchyroll. So that's pretty much all of that. And those are two interviews, so they actually went kind of long. Um, yeah, so I'll go take a look at your channel action and see if I get any ideas. I do actually specialize in kind of mechanical rigs that need trigonometry. Uh, all right, so we're already past the hour and a half mark here. So those are two interviews. So um, and though I skipped the other two stories because they were spoilers, um, so it looks like we're down to four people in here. And I'm just looking at something on YouTube here real quick. All right, so let's see. Those are pretty long interviews, and I think I'm about ready to wind things down a bit. So, are you guys ready for this day in Nietzsche history? Let's doing something here. A little. We need to be a bit more specific here because there are a number of different series involved here. So it was this one that we were actually looking for. Okay, so let's see. Neat shit up. Oh yes, I'm ready. All right, so today, with today being Monday, December 7th, 2020, let's take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history. Um, I got actually four interesting stories, four different pieces of history tonight. Let's go ahead and get started then. Okay, the first piece of Nietzsche history here, we go back to on this date in 1940, 80 years ago today. On this day, 80 years ago today, Let's see what Woody has to say here. I've been working on some walking worm caterpillar things. Okay. Um, anyway, so on this date in 1940, the Warner Brothers animated short, the Tex Avery directed Warner Brothers animated short of Fox and Hounds would be released on this date in 1940. 80 years ago, 80 years ago today, the Tex Avery directed Warner Brothers Merry Melodies animated short, cartoon short of Fox and Hound would make its would be released on this day 80 years ago. It introduces Willoughby the dog. Um, Tex Avery himself performed the voice of Willoughby, and Mel Blanc played George Fox. Short is an attempt to duplicate the success of the 1940 Bugs Bunny short, A Wild Hare, giving another anthropomorphic animal the same unflappable demeanor. The names Tex Avery, Dave Monahan, Carl W. Starling, possibly Charles McKinson initially draft numbers of the credits. Also, also another little tidbit about this particular cartoon, about this animated short. This is, I believe, um, the first time where the little catchphrase "Which way did he go, George? Which way did he go?" was used in as did "Thanks a lot, George. Thanks a lot." So if you guys remember a number of Looney Tunes characters over the years, kind of going, "Which way did he go, George? Which way did he go?" Um, that that little catchphrase made its debut on this date in 1940 in the Merry Melodies cartoon of Fox and Hounds. So with that, let's move on to the next piece of history here. On this date in 1945, which was 75 years ago today, um, DC Comics as JR Publishing Company would release the 50th issue of the 50th issue of Sensation Comics would go on sale on this date in 1945, 75 years ago. Um, of course, the comic here, Sensation Comics, featured Wonder Woman, the Golden Age characters of Wonder Woman, Wildcat, Mister Terrific, and Earth, all of Earth 2 and Earth 1's Black Pirate, John Valor. Um, so on this date in 1945, the 50th issue of Sensation Comics, which would be the anthology home for Wonder Woman back then, would be released on this would go on sale on this date in 1945, 75 years ago today. So, well, moving on now. We're down to three people apparently. Ah, so moving on to the next piece of niche history here. In the world of professional wrestling, from the North Charleston Coliseum in North Charleston, South Carolina, the WWE 5 years ago today, on this date in 2015, the WWE would host Raw on this date in 2015. In the main event of the show, Braun Strowman would defeat Tommy Dreamer. Also on the night, you saw the opening match of the night saw the faction known as the Family, which was Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, and the Usos. Of course, the Usos and Roman Reigns are cousins. They defeated the League of Nations, the Wyatt family, and the team of the Dudley Boys in a 16-man fatal four-way tag team elimination match. You also saw Kevin Owens defeat Dolph Ziggler, Team BAD, Beautiful and Dangerous of Sasha Banks and Naomi, defeating members of Team Bella, Brie Bella and Alicia Fox. The Lucha Dragons would defeat the New Day. Rusev and Ryback ended in a double countout. Jack Swagger would defeat Stardust via submission. Stardust, who is Cody Rhodes, Cody Reynolds, Cody Rhodes, currently the head of AEW. Then, as I said, in the main event, Braun Strowman would defeat Tommy Dreamer by submission. So that happened on this night and 2015 is just so nice that we're gonna hit it twice. Because one other thing happened on this date in 2015 in the world of anime, which is this. On this date, also in 2015, the 10th episode of Yuru Yuri Shanghai, Yuru Yuri Shanghai, the 10th episode would premiere on this date in 2015, 5 years ago today, with you forever. The 10th episode of Yuru Yuri Shanghai would premiere on this date 5 years ago, along with, of course, Monday Night Raw happening in the States. With that all being said, I thank you guys for joining me tonight as we're at the hour and 45-minute mark now. I hope to see you guys back here tomorrow night. And I think I'm going to wrap up the show here. Thank you all for coming, and I hope to see you back. I hope to see all of you back here tomorrow night. Until then, bye.